Okay, so good morning, everyone, once again, and I welcome you all to this class on Power BI. And this is the second class in this series. And I think the recording of the first class, which happened on yesterday, was uploaded, and I hope you have all have gone through it. Can I get a confirmation?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Pawan.
So, do you have any new participants today? Okay, fine. Anyways, I'll just try to quickly just review what we covered in the last class, and I'll quickly move on to today's syllabus. Okay. So till now, in yesterday's class, let me first share the screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. So yesterday we discussed what is the meaning of business intelligence. So business intelligence is mainly the procedure where we convert the raw data into a data which makes sense in business terms. Basically, we convert random tables into certain visualizations where we can figure out what's the top five products with sales, what's the top revenue, what are the different states with uh, with the values of sales. So these kind of things is business intelligence. And then we went on to see what is the high level architecture of the basic business intelligence that happens in each and every industry. So here in what happens is, at the left end, you can see that we have raw data coming in from various sources like RDBMS, Excel, Microsoft Access, or text files, or some other data, some other database. And this database will be subjected to ETL, which is extracting, transforming, and loading. And this will be brought in to a central repository where it is called as data warehouse. And in the data warehouse, we make the data marts. The data marts are nothing but, we can call it as subsets of the data warehouse. And these data marts deal with a specific domain. Okay. So once that is done, into the BI tools, we get the required data that we want from the data warehouse, or basically we get some data marts, and that particular data is subjected to the analysis in BI tools, and it is converted to visualizations, which will make sense to business end. So this was the high level data, architecture of the business intelligence things that goes on in industries. Okay. And these are the various BI tools that are presently used widely in the market: Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, Alteryx, MSBI, SAP BI, ClickSense, and there are many other things like Grafana is there. Okay, so all these tools do the same thing. But the thing is that over the last 4 to 5 years, Power BI has developed more demand compared to the rest of the tools due to its additional capabilities in terms of the customization of visualizations that can be achieved, also the number of data sources that it can connect to. Okay, so, and it's important thing to be noted that the Power BI is not, it's not a single tool, but it's a stack of different components, namely Power BI Desktop, which is the offline mode app which we can work on. Then the Power BI service, which is the cloud-based application. And then we have the Power BI mobile app. Then we have Power BI servers for usage of on-premise or local servers. And ultimately, we have Power BI report builder, which is used to build paginated reports. Okay. And this is the basic workflow that happens in the Power BI. First, what we do ETL, or clean and transform the data in the Power BI desktop, then subject it to modeling in the Power BI desktop. Then we visualize and analyze the data. And once that is done, we publish our data set or we publish our report into Power BI cloud services, and we can share that with others. And once that is done, if needed, we can share it over the mobile layout or smartphones as well. But it is to be noted that the Power BI mobile is used mainly for reviewing the content or viewing the content, but not developing the model. Okay, so that's the thing. And these are the building blocks of Power BI, basically data sets, visualizations, tiles, reports, and dashboards. Okay. And yesterday I also explained about the data, the three views of the Power BI, which is the data view, report view, and model view. The data view is the one where you can actually see the tables like this. And the report view is where you can see the report or visuals. And ultimately, model view is where you can see the data model of your data set. Okay. So this was, until this we covered in the last class. So today we'll start with the very important thing called as Power Query Editor. And Power Query Editor is we can say it's inbuilt ETL tool within Power BI. Okay. And I hope everybody knows what is meant by ETL. Can I get a confirmation?
Yes.
Okay. ETL is nothing but extracting the data, transforming the raw data, and loading the data or loading the relevant data for usage. Okay. So this is the ETL: extract, transform, load. Okay. Now let's see the Power Query Editor by ourselves, and we will see these components of the Power Query Editor. So what are the components? See, left pane, right pane, home tab, transform tab, add column tab, and view tab. Okay, it's better to see it ourselves than than instead of just seeing it. In the PowerPoint. Okay, so first let me do one thing. Let me open the Power BI desktop from the scratch. And I hope everyone has got Power BI desktop installed in your systems. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope for you all the full screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, as I told you yesterday, this is the report view, this is the data view, and this is the model view. Let's just get some data just for the sake of it. Although I'll tell you how to get each and every type of data later, but right now just get some data just for the sake of it. Okay, so I'll just get let's say CSV type of data. All you need to do is click on get data and click on type of data that you want to import. Okay, let's say text or CSV, and I'm getting let's say e-commerce data. Okay. Into this. Okay. Now look, whenever you get the data or whenever you click the option which kind of data you want and choose it from the location, what happens is that you will be loaded with this window. Okay. Now here there are two options. Either you can load the data into the Power BI or you can go on to transform the data first. Okay. Now, when you transform the data or when you click on transform data here, what happens is the Power Query Editor opens automatically. Can you see this here at the top left of the window, Power Query Editor? Yes.
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 Okay. So this is Power Query Editor. And let's say if you by chance have selected just loading of the data, okay, and you want to go to Power Query Editor, okay. So then, and in that case, what you can do is we have the home tab here. In home tab, we have transform data. If you click on transform data, you will be getting the Power Query editor. Can you see this now?
Yes.
So there are two ways to get to the Power Query editor while importing the data itself, or when you are in the Power BI desktop, you can just click on the home ribbon and transform query. So there you can go to Power Query editor. Now, the main things to be noted here are the components of Power Query editor. Now, even though all of this feels a bit of overwhelming, I mean, it might feel like there are so many options. How am I going to get accustomed to all these options? So don't worry, we'll go it step by step. And today you just make sure that you are just seeing it and you are kind of knowing what's happening here. Okay, no need to remember. You will remember each and everything once you start working on it, and it will happen in a gradual manner. So no need to worry about it. So first of all, let's talk about the left pane. And when I say left pane, I mean this pane. Is it visible to everyone where it is mentioned queries? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when it says queries, it actually means the tables that you have here. Okay. And right now we have only one table, which is named e-commerce data. Okay. Now, the thing about this is this, as you go on to get more and more tables into this, those queries or tables will be loaded on the left pane. Can you see this here? Okay. So the thing is here, you can, if you want, you can rename the table just by double clicking on it. Okay. So that it makes more sense to you. That is one of the options that you can do. Okay. And there are few more options here. Okay. Let us say we will try to see what these options mean. Okay. Let us say you have a static table. Now, when I say static table, I mean that it is going to remain same. It's not going to be changing. It's not going to get any new records. Understood? Like, let's say some geographical data. Okay. And geographical data has been already established. Okay. Like, what are the country names, cities? Okay. So if, let's say, that's not going to increase, then what you can do is you can right click on this. You can unselect include in report refresh. Okay. And when you do that, unselect include in report refresh, this query will be brought only once and it will not be a part of every refresh. Okay. And when I say it will not be part of every refresh, I mean that you know that data needs to be refreshed every often. I mean, often because you will be adding more and more records, right? But if this is a geographical table, it's a static table. It need not be refreshed every time. So in that case, we can exclude this report refresh. Okay. And similarly, if any table kind of becomes useless to you, okay, in the sense you are not using it at all right now, but you might use it in future, then you can enable load as well. Okay. So then what happens? I'll show you what happens then. Okay. If I enable load in this, okay, you can see it has changed into italic font. Okay. And when I go on to close and apply now, let's wait, let's see what happens. See here, the data hasn't loaded now. Okay. It has not loaded into the Power BI, but it is still there in transform data, or it is in still Power Query editor. Okay. So for now, I'm enabling the load. Okay. So these two things are the main things. We have few more options. We can explore them later. But right now, you just make sure that this is the query pane, or left pane is the pane where all the queries or tables will be loaded. Okay. Now, next thing to be noted here is that the right pane. Okay. Right pane records all the applied steps into the transformations. Okay. All the applied steps into the transformation. For example, let's see what's the first step. Okay. See, at the right end of each and every step, there's a gear icon. Are you able to see the gear icon, people?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you click on the gear icon, it will tell you what has happened in that step. So see what has happened in that step. It is basically showing you where it has got this file from. That is the first step. Okay. Then let's say if I do certain transformation, or I'll show you some simple transformation. Okay. First, so I'll remove a particular column. I'll select this column. I'll go to remove column. Okay. I'll just simply press remove column. Now you can see that column 3 has been removed. Previously it was there. You got this?
Yes.
Yeah. Now if you see on the applied steps, that step has been applied here. It shows removed columns. Can you see this?
Yes.
Now the thing is, one more thing to be seen here is at the left of this applied step, there is a cross mark. Okay. One thing to be noted here is that there is no undo button in Power Query Editor, but there is this cross mark. Cross mark, what it does is it deletes the previous step like this. Okay. Now you can see the column 3 has reappeared again. Understood? So two things to be noted, this gear icon and the cross mark. Gear icon, what it does, it gives us the thing that, information about what happened in that particular step, and cross mark, it can delete that particular step. Hope you got this, people.
Yes, sir.
As we go on making more and more transformations, each and every transformation will appear here as new step. Okay, each and every transformation here will appear as a new step. Okay, I hope everyone is clear with the query pane and applied steps pane.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now
Can you explain the source again?
source. Okay, if you click on the gear icon, okay, you can see the file path here. Okay, file path. Let us say you have changed the file path. Okay, I'm just giving you a scenario. Okay, you can change that. Okay, in the backend, if let's say you have changed this file location from here to somewhere else. Okay, in that case, what you can do, you can browse it again and point it to the new source, and again you can click OK, so the source will be all right. Okay, but all those things I'll tell you but right now you just make sure that on the left pane you will see all the queries or tables. On the right pane you will see the transformation steps. An important thing to be noted in the right pane is the gear icon, which gives you the information about that particular step, and the cross icon, which will make you erase or delete that particular step. Hope I'm clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So now let's move on to these tabs at the top, which we are seeing. Okay, so the first tab, that is home tab. Okay, so let's talk about home tab. Now here you can see close and apply. The first thing here, we have two options. If we click on this downward arrow, we have 2 to 3 options. First, we can just close and apply. It means whatever transformation you have done here, okay, it will be applied and it will close and it will take you to Power BI desktop. Shall I repeat, or it's okay with you?
Repeat, please.
Okay, sure. When you press close and apply, what will happen is all the transformation steps which are applied here will be saved or will be applied, and it will take you to Power BI desktop. Okay. For example, let me show you that. Okay. Let me show you that. Let me again delete this column. Okay. I'll remove this column, the highlighted column. So you can see that the column 3 will be deleted. Okay. Now, if I press close and apply, now you can see that we are back into Power BI desktop, and wait to see that file will be loaded here. Okay. Okay. Now in the data, can you see this?
Yes.
File has been loaded. And when I go to the data view in Power BI, you can see that the column 3 is not existing. Okay. It has been deleted. I hope you got the point now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go back to the transformation or transform data or Power Query editor. Okay, so what I mean to say is whatever steps you apply in the transformation steps, if you press close and apply, it will be applied and it will close the Power Query editor. It will take you to Power BI desktop with all these changes done. Okay, and if you just click on apply, these steps will be applied, but it will not be closed. And thirdly, if you just press close, these steps will not be applied, but it will be closed. Hope I'm clear with it now.
Yes.
Okay.
When you did the apply and close,
Mhm.
that if we open again, is there any chance to revert those steps, or is it permanent?
Yes, there is a chance to revert those steps. I just talked about the cross mark. If you come back to Power Query editor and delete the steps by clicking on the cross marks, those steps will be deleted. And you can again close and apply with whatever you want.
Yeah, like last time you have shown that you have removed column 3, right? So if I have to bring back the column 3 again.
See, I have brought back the column 3. I had removed it here. Okay. Let me do that once again for you, but make sure that you concentrate on this. Okay. So I'm moving the column 3 now. Okay. It's removed. Okay. But if you just click on this now, cross mark, that step will be deleted. That can be done, man. These applied steps will always be there. Okay. They will not vanish once you go to Power BI desktop. They will always be here. Am I clear with it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is about close and apply. And look, if you don't click on this downward arrow and instead you simply click on this upper part, it will by default close and apply. No other option. Okay. It will simply close and apply. So usually what we do in industries, you simply press on the upper part, close and apply, because usually people just want it to be closed and applied only once they complete all the steps here. So by default, it is close and apply. Okay. Hope this thing is clear to everyone. Shall we move forward? Okay.
Sir, I have a question to ask.
Sure.
So actually, as you have like inserted a step, like you have initiated a step and it was showed on applied steps. And then when you have closed it and like when you have clicked on close and apply, and then it went to the data and you went to the data view. Now it is not, at that time it was not showing on applied steps.
Yeah, because in data view, we don't have Power Query editor. Let me come back to data view.
Okay.
In data view, no, this is the report view. Okay.
Okay.
Look here. This is the report view where we have only the columns mentioned. And similarly, if you go to the data view, we have the table, and if you want, you can see that here as well. Okay. The applied steps are not visible here because this is not the transformation window.
Okay.
The transformation window is only Power Query editor.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can move forward then. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now we'll come to the next important option, which is called as new source. Look here, if I click on new source, what I can do is I can get more data, just like I can get more data from the get data option as well. We have get data option in the home of Power BI, right?
Yeah.
Similar thing can be done from Power Query editor as well. You just need to click on new source. Okay. So it will make you get the data here itself in the Power Query editor directly. You need not go to desktop again and get it and come back to Power Query editor. Okay. So that is the one. Okay. And here, if you go, click on the download arrow, it will give you the options, recent options here itself, or it will do the same in elaborate manner if you click on the upper part like this. Okay. There are various options. Okay.
In how many methods we can connect our data sets? Say, for example, we have Excel, SQL, Azure, like that. How many methods we can connect?
You mean how many sources?
How many sources? Yeah.
I'll show you how many sources. Just a second. Okay.
If there is any number, because it could be an interview question, that is the reason.
See, in interview, they will never ask you how many exact number of sources, because it's more than almost 100, man. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, but it is good to know that you can connect to almost any type of source. Okay. But mainly in industries, what sources they connect to, that I'll tell you. First of all, in some cases, they might connect to Excel workbooks or text CSVs. But most of the cases, they will connect to sources like SQL Server database or SharePoint folder you're seeing here, or maybe MySQL Server or Azure services like we have here. Okay. So it is better to know how you exactly want to connect with these. Okay. Although, and let's say Oracle database, IBM database, SQL Server Analysis Service database. So these things. Okay. Or Google BigQuery. Okay. So these are various sources.
One more question.
Yes.
Can you just guide me how to write a query? What to say? SQL queries. Say for
Yes,
example.
I'll come to that. It's a part of today's class as well. Okay. I'll come to that. But right now, just let's try to get accustomed to this Power Query window. And today I'll certainly tell you how to write the query in this as well. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Am I clear? Okay.
Pawan, is there any size limitation, like in terms of data?
I'll tell you about that. That also will
Okay.
come to. Okay.
Sure.
Right now,
Quick question, please.
Yeah.
So where you are now is under home or under file? This page. Is it under the home
Yeah,
button
I'm
or
on
the
the
file?
home.
Oh, not file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not file. Okay. I'm on the home pane. Okay. Let's just not include this. Okay. I'm on home pane. Okay. Now this is about getting the data. Okay. And there is another way to do it. This just shows you the recent sources. Okay. Recent sources that you have connected to. Okay. Now there is one more option. You can also enter the data like this, like you do in Excel. Okay. You can just go on adding rows here. Okay. You can enter the values. You can mention the column name. So this is one of the manual method, but this we never do it. Okay. This is almost never happens in Power BI. Okay. But it is possible, as simple as that. Okay. So just
I think for practice purpose, we can utilize it.
in practice, for practice purpose, you can definitely use that. But even for practice purpose, my advice for you would be to use Excel and bring it in, because what you can do here, you can do in Excel quite quickly. Okay.
Yes.
Now you can directly connect to Excel workbook here, even though you can connect to Excel from here as well. But they have, so sorry, I came back to that window. Okay. Now look, I was into enter data. Now the next option is data source settings. Let us say you by mistakenly, you changed your data source, or let's say you placed this file somewhere else. Okay. Instead of this folder to some other folder. Okay. Then what will happen? That will not be loaded here. It will give you an error. So in that case, what you can do is you can change the data source settings. Okay. You can change the data source settings by clicking here, change the source. And you can again browse to the new place where you have kept it, and you can make it normal again. Hope this thing is clear with you.
Yes.
Okay. And it also has something like edit permissions. Like let's say if you don't have permission to access certain database, so that is visible, that will be visible here. Okay. And if you don't have the access, it will show that you don't have the access to a particular database. So that can be seen here as well. Okay. Because in industries, what happens whenever you are into any new project, you will not be having access to all the database that they are using. So sometimes you might get errors here, which you can see in edit permissions. Okay.
One more question. In case while inserting a data into the so while I'm inserting with the CSV file format, after that I'm converting into the Excel file format. Now I'm changing into data source purpose with a different source with a Excel file, whether it will allow with the same kind of data?
No, you have to again change the data source and get that Excel file because you bought it as a CSV file. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it has changed into Excel. So basically, you are saying that CSV is not non-existent now.
Yeah.
But
no more
Power BI
example.
bought it as a CSV, so it will not work certainly.
No.
So you have to go back to the previous step, bring it as a Excel file.
Okay.
Hope I'm clear.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's close this. And this is about the data source settings. Now coming to manage parameters. Right now, you don't worry about managing parameters. Parameters we will cover when we get accustomed to usage of transformation steps. Okay, but we'll cover this for sure. Okay, right now, parameter, you just remember that parameters are used to store certain value and use that value when required. Okay, parameters are used to store certain values and use those values when required. Okay, for example, in industries, parameters are used mainly to, let's say, if your data source has 10 million records. Okay, and right now you only want to refresh the recent data which has, let's say, 2000 records. So there you can make use of parameters and make sure that you only refresh those new 2000 records. Hope I'm clear with this. How we do that, I'll get into that later. Okay, but right now you just remember that parameters are used to store certain value and use that value later when necessary. Okay, next, about this refresh thing. When you click on refresh, what will happen is this table will be refreshed. Let's say if you have added any new record or column into this table, that will appear here. Okay, and in refresh preview, we have two options. One is refresh all. Now, when I say refresh all the tables that are here in the query section will be refreshed. Else, if I select only refresh preview, only the highlighted table or the selected query will be refreshed. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
yeah, Pawan, sorry to interrupt you, but
yes.
Right now I have a question related to data source. Okay. So let's suppose we have a single table. So in a single table, we can use multiple data sources in a single table only.
You are talking about Excel, right?
No, I'm not talking about Excel. So let's suppose we have this table only. Okay. So in this table, let's suppose we row number 10. Okay. So row number 1 to 10, we have a Excel data sources. After 10, 11 to 20, we have a SQL data sources. After that, rest of the rows, we have a any other data sources. Okay. So it is possible.
See, can I know your name?
Rajendra.
Rajendra. See, Rajendra, that sort of stuff usually does not happen in industries because what you're saying is bringing some unclean data from different sources. Okay. So first thing what they do in industries is they segregate the data in one particular source. Okay. That is, they either make the SQL database or they either use the CSV files or flat files. But the thing which you are mentioning, first 10 records coming from Excel, next 10 records coming from SQL database, that usually does not happen. Okay, it will not happen. It will not happen in the industries at all. But at max, what will happen is, let's say first 1000 records come from one Excel file, and next 1000 records can come from another Excel file itself. So that sort of stuff can be achieved, but not what you mentioned. Okay. Am I clear?
Okay. So if you want to create the hybrid table, so I am talking about the hybrid table. So how we can achieve that? See,
that's what I'm telling you. They don't use the hybrid tables in industries.
Okay.
The thing is, the hybrid, let's say you are bringing, let's say, okay, I'll have to go back to this step now. Is it visible now? Okay. Now what you're saying is this particular left-hand thing. One source is RDBMS, another is Excel, another is flat, and another is some SAP data maybe. Okay. You're seeing this ETL process. Seeing this and this data warehouse. So what they're doing here is they're bringing all of these data from different sources into a central repository. And this central repository may be Azure data lake, or Synapse data lake, or Oracle database, or simply SQL server. So that thing which you're mentioning is done in the ETL process itself before bringing into Power BI. Am I clear?
Yeah.
So when you say hybrid data or raw data, it will be raw before the ETL process. Once you bring it in data warehouse, it will be a uniform kind of data. It will be a ready-made data. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll move back to this. We are running out of time today. Okay. Now, look here. Forget about these properties. And the thing is, it will just give you the same things here, which we discussed in this. I mean, enable load to report, enable include in report refresh, which were available here as well. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So same thing is here. So not to worry about. Okay. And advanced editor is one where you will see each and every step. Okay. Let's say this is the first step. Okay. Can you see this code here?
Yes.
Yeah. This code is called as M language or mashup language. Okay. Now, mashup language is a very, I mean, it's a very humongously big language. Okay. Let's try to understand what is it trying to do here in terms of this code. Okay. So look, it is trying to bring CSV document. Okay. Which is this part. Okay. Then it is showing you the data source. Okay. It is showing you the data source. And the thing is, it also tells you what kind of delimiter it being used. Now, if you see CSV file, what is the CSV file exactly? Comma separated values, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in here, the delimiter will be comma, isn't it?
Yes.
So that is what it is mentioning here.
Where did you click for that query to show up there?
See, I'm actually not doing this on my own. Whenever you do any steps here, that will be shown here as a new mashup language code. You need not do it on yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Understood. Although we will be covering some of the M language codes because in interviews they might ask you. Okay. But let me tell you the gist of it a bit later. Okay. But right now,
you say when you click on the step, it will automatically populate the query. So I'm wondering what query it is now. Is it because you click on source?
Yes, this has generated by itself when I brought it here. As simple as that.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Fine then. Now we have manage. Okay. Where again we have the same manage options here as well. Duplicate, reference. Okay. I'll tell you about those two options later, but this duplicate is in the sense it will duplicate the same table. Okay. And reference in the sense it will create another table which is not a duplicate, but it is just a reference of that. Okay. I'll tell you what is the main difference between duplicate and reference later, but you just understand that this type of things exist right now. Okay. I'm just trying to make you go through all these options. Okay. I'll discuss all of them in detail. Don't worry. Okay. Now here we have we have these options. Okay. Where we can choose column, keep rows, remove rows. Let me come on to them in a bit detail. Okay. So if you click at the bottom of choose columns, okay, let's say choose column, it will show you all the columns that are available. You can see column 1 to column 21 are available. Now, if let's say I won't select all the columns, and if I choose only, let's say 3 to 4 columns, okay. Now see what has happened. We are left with only these columns. Rest all have disappeared. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So basically it has removed all the other columns. You can see the step here, right? And if I click on the gear icon, you can see what has been done here.
Yeah,
All of you
Pawan,
are getting this?
I have a question here.
Yes, yes.
Like if we have unwanted, yeah, maybe extra columns in our database.
Huh.
So what we prefer to delete that particular extra columns, or we select our usable columns?
That's the thing with Power BI. The same thing can be achieved in different manners. Either you use this way or use other way. It will lead to same. Okay. I'll tell you more options. Okay. So right now, you just understand that this is also one of the way. Okay. Got it?
One more question.
Yeah. Yes.
I think he's mistakenly muted.
Hello.
Yeah.
So if we delete any columns from here, it will reflect in the source as well.
Yes, exactly. If you delete here and press close and apply, the same will be reflecting in, in Power BI desktop, but not in source. Okay. Not in source.
Okay.
See, source will remain in intact, man. Okay, let's say if the source is this Excel file, I'm opening that Excel file now for your reference.
So Pawan, if we hide some columns from here, not delete them, it will be available in the final report.
Let me just come to each and everything just once. Okay, look here. This is the source file. Let me go to data and filter this. Okay, so this is the main file. Okay, what all steps you do here, okay, do in the Power BI, it will not affect the source people. Okay, I hope you all got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you close and apply, it saves the data that you have processed or worked on. It will save it on your
Power BI
desktop.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
But still, it will be pointing to the source, right? Like I was just confused here.
I'll tell that it will that confusion will be clear when you will come to know about import data and direct query connection. Okay, so right now you don't worry about that, people. Okay, I'll make sure that almost all of your doubts will be cleared as we move forward. Okay,
sure.
Don't worry. Okay, now I'll just cancel this and I'll remove this step. And one more doubt someone had asked. Come again, please.
If I'm saying that if I hide some columns from here, not remove them, will those columns be available in the final report when we publish this?
Look, whatever changes you do here, okay, that will be stored. In the sense, if you hide it here, it will not be visible in the Power BI desktop. But the thing is, there is no option to hide it here. There is option to hide in Power BI desktop itself. Okay, am I clear?
Okay.
So I have deleted that particular step. So I told you how to choose the columns. If you choose the columns, I'm doing it once again. Let's say I choose only column number 1. So only column number 1 will stay. Rest all will be deleted. And look here, the same, when I've done this, the same mashup language code will be appearing here. Look, what's the code? Table.select columns. And what is the previous step? Previous step is called source. So that is the source here. And what is the column to be selected? Column number 1. All of you understood this code now, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just be giving you a gist of how this mashup language works as well. Although you need not type this on your own. Always remember that. Okay. Whenever you do any steps here, it will be generated automatically. Okay. So I'll remove this particular step once again.
Pawan, is this mashup language question is important in intro point of view?
Yes, I'll come to that, man. Okay, just give me a second. Now, when we say mashup language, I'll show you what mashup language consists of. Okay, so I'm into Power BI site itself. Okay. Now, if you, I have pressed mashup language here. Okay. Now, if you see mashup language, or if I, let's say, open or download the PDF, mashup language PDF. Okay. It's such a big language that, look how many pages that PDF will be. It will be of around 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. And how many codes are there? You can't learn these codes even over the period of 1 year. Okay. But yes, as you said, they will ask you sometimes, do you know mashup language? But the fact of the matter is that nobody can learn the whole of the mashup language. Okay. So what you can say in that particular scenario is, I know the codes of mashup language. Okay. And I will be sharing you certain basic codes like this. Okay. Some of the codes.
Can you put that link in the chat box, please?
This link? Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Where is it? Who asked this question exactly? Can I know the name?
For the link?
No, about the mashup language and the interviews.
Okay, that was not.
Okay, listen, the thing is, you, in that scenario, what you can do is, you can at least learn some 20 to 30 mashup codes. Okay. And if you want, I can share them with you, which are very important. And whenever interviewer asks you that, instead of saying that, I mean, you can never say that you know all the codes. What you can say is, I have worked with so and so mashup codes. And that will be sufficient. Okay. Because even the interviewer also will be not knowing all the mashup codes, to be very frank. Got the point?
Yes. Thank you.
Because see, there is this mashup language, but more importantly, there is one more language in Power BI, which is called as DAX. And there you are supposed to remember most of the functions, or at least important functions. So that you can by heart, or that no need to by heart, you just need to know how they work and what the logic behind it. But as far as mashup language is concerned, need not break our head on this. Okay. That's what I mean. Okay. But what you can do is, whenever you go on doing certain steps here, you can just simply look here. Okay. So these are nothing but these are mashup language codes themselves. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now in the choose column option itself, we have one more option, go to column. Okay. Now let's say in industry, what happens is that there will be certain projects where there will be some 70 to 100 number of columns. Okay. And if you want to go to a particular column, you can just select that particular column. It will go to that column. Look, it is not deleting other columns. The fact to be noted, it is just going to that particular column. Let me go to column number 11 now. Click on OK. So you can see what that particular column is. Clear to everyone?
You say it doesn't delete it, it just goes there for you to make any changes, or okay.
Yes, if you just want to have a look at that particular column, you can just go to that particular column, is what I mean. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we have the remove columns options as well. Now remove column, what it does, it just removes the highlighted columns. Okay, like this. It removed column number 20. Saw that? Okay. It also works in another way. Let me delete this particular step. What's the another way? It removes other columns. Now, if I choose other columns, apart from column number 20, every other column will be deleted. Okay. So as I said earlier, in Power BI, there are multiple ways to do a same thing, and it doesn't matter which way you choose most of the times. Is this thing clear with you all, people?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, similarly, we have options to keep and remove rows. Okay. We can keep certain rows we can remove certain rows, we can keep duplicates, we can keep errors, and we can remove the same. Look here. Remove top rows, remove bottom rows. And when it says top rows, let's say if I click on remove top rows, it asks you how many top rows you want to remove. Let's say if I want to say, I want to delete top 10 rows. So it will delete top 10 rows for me. Similarly, it will remove bottom rows. It will ask how many bottom rows you want to remove. It will remove those many rows. Then it will remove alternate rows. Okay. Look here, it gives us option, which is the first row you want to select and which is number of rows you want to remove and number of rows you want to keep in alternative way. Okay. This is the pattern. We generally don't use this because such requirement usually does not come, but you just know this option that this also is, the thing which can be done. Then we have remove duplicates. Duplicate records can be removed. We can remove the completely blank rows. Okay. Let's say if I don't select any column, then what it does, if I say remove blank rows, it will remove the rows which are completely blank. And when I say entirely blank, means all the columns of that particular row are blank. Similarly, it can remove errors as well. If certain rows are filled with errors, it will remove that.
When remove duplicate is applicable only for the particular column, or it is applicable for the entire?
It will work in both ways. Let's say if you select a column and then choose remove, let's say duplicates, it will remove duplicates of that particular column only. Okay. Whereas if you don't select any column, then it will remove duplicates of the entire record. Okay. The same with the blanks as well. Okay.
Is there a chance that this can go wrong? Maybe this
this can go wrong if you use it in a wrong manner. Let us say if you want to delete the rows which are entirely blank. Okay. And in that case, if you choose a particular column and only select remove blanks, then it will remove blanks which are only there in that column. Okay. So that's the thing.
So how about remove errors? Does Power BI or Query Editor have the ability to detect whatever is error?
Yes, it has the ability to detect the errors. I'll show you. Okay.
Okay.
And that's about this.
Sir, any possible to remove in between rows?
In between, what do you mean? Exactly.
Yeah, 7 to 15 row.
That is not you can't delete a specific row like this. That option is not there, man.
Oh, okay. In between, like 7 to 15. In that way, we can't able to remove.
No, that thing cannot be done.
Okay.
I had one query. Now, suppose we have selected column 1 and we decide to delete blank values in column 1. Then how will the other means? Suppose if row number 5 and 10 is blank and it is deleted, then what about the corresponding values in other columns of row number 5 and row number 10?
Obviously, those also will be deleted. But what I'm trying to say is you don't want that to happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that thing should be avoided. Whenever you're trying to delete the blanks, you should delete. It's the good practice to delete the rows which are entirely blank. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more doubts, people?
So, Pawan, what do you mean by error actually? Can you tell some example?
Error, the things like if certain thing is divided by 0, we'll get some error. Okay. We'll not get any value there. We'll get error like infinity, things like that. And one more thing, I'll show you error. Okay. When you said error, I'll show you exactly what the error is. Okay. Let's say if I'm trying to convert this to a whole number, is it possible?
Okay. It's not possible.
So it's a error. Okay.
Okay.
Any more doubts, people?
Regarding enable load, Pawan.
Huh.
So, for example, if you unselect that, so that means it is not loaded in the memory of Power BI, right?
it will not be loaded to Power BI desktop in the data view. It will be there in the Power Query editor. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But it will not come here in this another window, which I showed you earlier. Here it will not be visible. Okay.
Oh, so we won't be able to build any visualization based on that.
No, 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 no. If you disable, if you disable the loading of it, you can't.
Oh, okay, okay, got it. Thanks.
Yes, any more doubts, people? Okay. Then we have a split column. Okay, you can split column by delimiter. Split in the sense it will be, let's say, that column can be split in various ways by delimiter. Delimiter is nothing but a particular character. It might be space, it might be comma, anything, or it might be column can be split by number of characters, by position, that is a particular position of that character, from lowercase to uppercase, uppercase to lowercase, digit to non-digit, non-digit to digit. Okay, we'll have a look at how this works when we come across that particular scenario. But right now, you just make sure that you know this option. A column can be split.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you now. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Fine. So this is the way in which we can split the column. And don't worry about these particular steps. We will be doing the actual cleaning of this data in next class. Okay. But you just make sure you know that these options are there. And there are options to merge queries, append query. Merge in the sense it is like SQL joins work. Okay. The tables will be joined side by side with the help of some particular common column. Append in the sense it will be vertical stacking of the column, vertical stacking of the tables, one below other. Like someone earlier said, he wants to bring certain data from one Excel file and another data from another Excel files, and hoping that all the columns are same. So that can be done using append queries, but all these sources need to be there here. Okay. So that can be done.
So the group by it's when you select multiple columns, for instance?
No, group by is when we want to summarize the data. Okay. I'll tell you what that exactly is. Group by, we are going to use this, and it's the difference between, let's say, the transactional data and summarized data. I'll go into that in a very much detail, but right now you don't worry about it. So you know about these options. Okay. Make sure that you are just knowing that right now, what all can be done. Okay. Hope this thing is clear. Don't worry about this text analytics, vision, and Azure machine learning. We are not, most probably we are not going to use that because these are AI options, which will be done mostly with other more advanced tools for the same sake, which is Python or maybe RStudio, something like that. Okay. Most of the AI stuff is not done into data analytics, but after that. Okay. So home tab is clear with everyone, people?
Yes. Pawan, like if there is source, there is change in the source, like when any other options will get added.
Change in the source. I told you.
Yeah, like if, instead of Excel, if it is something else, will there any change in the options that we have?
See, if there is a, instead of Excel, there is a SQL server, then you have to bring it once again, because in here you can't mention that, change that source, right? Because that source is Excel now. How can you point to SQL Server? Because SQL Server will be brought in altogether a different way. Am I clear?
Okay.
Because for SQL Server, let's say, let me show you how the SQL Server is brought in. For SQL Server database, you will be mentioning the server name and database name. Whereas for Excel file, you'll be just mentioning the location of that file. So hope I'm clear with that, right?
There's another question on the same what you are mentioning, Pawan. So like if we are importing data from a SQL server, so in case that is a live data, okay, so every time the data is getting updated, so will that also impact the Power BI results of the dashboard every time if the data is refreshed by us?
Yeah. See, there are two types of connections in Power BI. One is direct import and the other is direct query. Okay. Direct query is like it is just connected to the live data which you are saying. So if it's in the direct query method, then whatever changes that you make in the source will be immediately reflecting in the front end, that is Power BI end. Whereas if it's direct, if it's import method, it will work in a different manner. I'm coming to that in next class. Okay. I'll tell you about the storage methods. If you go to the syllabus, you can clearly see that there is storage modes in Power BI. I'll be explaining that in very much detail. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Sorry for jumping a couple of steps.
Not a problem.
What would you say about that command, that new query tab? If you're in the current view and you click on new query, if you go left, go the way left, top left, yeah, up a little bit, yeah. You said new query? No, new query.
New query.
Yes.
New query is the sense, this new query in the sense new table. Okay. And there are different ways to get the new table, which I already explained you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any more doubts, people?
Pawan, generally we do the transformations over Power BI as well. Like we transform the data and we load into data warehouse, right?
Yes. See, the thing is, this I'm explaining because transformation also can be done in Power BI. And as I said, Power Query Editor is the ETL tool of Power BI. Most of the times, let's say if it's a very high priority project, okay? Let's say the project is very big project and it's a very high priority project involving data from various data sources, and the data size is also very huge. In that case, you will not be asked to do any of the transformations here. Most of the transformations will be done in the data warehouse. You'll be simply bringing that and loading that into the Power BI. Okay. But that does not mean we should not know this. Okay. Because these options are available in Power BI because we have to use it when needed. There will be some small projects where you will be given directly raw Excel files. You have to clean them by yourselves. Okay. In that scenario, you are going to use the Power Query Editor. Am I clear?
Yeah, it depends on use case, right?
Depends on use case for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'll come to transform. Yeah. Anyone?
I was just going to quickly ask. So as a Power BI professional, let's say you're working as a data visualization engineer. What would be your most likely what would be the thing that you most frequently use or do? Would you have to demonstrate how you analyze or do all these queries, or you just show them only the visualizations, that
look
the end product?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Now, what we are looking into right now, that is Power Query Editor. This you can say is the back end of Power BI.
Okay.
Okay. This is the back end of Power BI. Whereas the front end of Power BI will be the visualizations or reports, what you said. Okay, let me show you certain things. I have created certain visuals. Okay, so I'll show you certain visuals. See, these are the things which you have to share with your stakeholders.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, and this is one of the data model. Let's not go into the data model, but I'm just showing you the type of visualizations that you will be supposed to show.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it?
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Let me close that. Okay. Do you have any further more doubts in the home pane? No, right? Okay. Now let's move on to the transform pane. Okay. And my request for you two is I'll be explaining all these steps in very much detail when I actually go on to clean the data. But right now, you just remember that things are possible. We'll definitely get into the detail in next class. But right now, let me just complete at least this thing. Okay. So group by option, which was there earlier as well, here, it's also there in transform. Okay. And we have this option to use first rows as headers. Are you seeing this? First rows can be used as headers like this. If I use this, you can see the first row, which was previously first row, now it has become a header. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Now we have the thing called as transpose. So what transpose does is it turns rows into columns and columns into rows. Okay. Or basically same thing can be done by pivoting or unpivoting the columns. You're seeing this pivot and unpivot. Look what it says, unpivot. Basically unpivoting is converting columns into rows and pivoting is converting rows into columns. I'll tell you where exactly we are going to use this and why it is important to do such thing in Power BI. Okay, but right now you know that such thing exists. Okay, then we have option to replace the values. Okay, replace the value. Let's say you want to replace something like Mary with some other value. What you can do is you can click on this column. You can use replace, and you can click Mary here. And what do you want to replace it with? Let's say I want to replace it with a blank. Then click OK. So now you can see Mary is replaced with white space or blank. Okay, that's how replace works. And if you click on detect data types, Power BI will detect the data type on its own. Okay, and you can rename the columns like this by double clicking on them. Okay, or you can do one more thing. You can reorder the columns as well, like this. And that step also will be recorded. You can see here. Okay. Okay. Then we have fill option. Now fill option is, let's say you have one record and you want next records to be filled with the same record, then we can use fill down. And if you want it to be in a reversed manner, you can use fill up. Okay, so that's the thing. Then split column option is here as well. And we have options to format the column or then extract and parse the column using statistics, date and time functions. Don't worry about this all. I'll be explaining you all of these in very much detail when I go on to actually clean this data and get type of data that I want. Okay, so this is the transform column, transform pane, where you can actually transform, make use of more transform steps compared to home pane. Okay, clear with this?
Yeah.
And this statistics, it will come into account only when you are dealing with a column with numbers. For example, let's say right now, if I click on statistics, most of the things will not be available here. Only you can count the number of records. Whereas if I click on any column involving numbers, let's say this, but this is not yet number. I have to convert that into number, and then let's say order quantity. I'll first what I'll do, I'll use first rows as headers and convert this into whole number. Don't worry about the steps I'm doing right now. I'll be explaining all of that. Now you see this is number, and you can see statistics. We can have many options now. Okay, so that's when you can use it. And standard, add, multiply, and all the mathematical operations, trigonometric also are available, but we'll not be using much of trigonometry in this. Okay, so these are the things that are possible in this. Okay, is this anyone has any doubt till now? Just make sure that you are getting familiar with this. Okay, we'll be
so basically this transform is mostly, it's more frequently used than the home tab.
Yes, exactly. Transform, and then there is add columns and view tools as well. I'll be discussing that in the next classes. Okay, in tomorrow's class. But today and tomorrow's class, I'll be discussing about how we get the data into, the import mode and the live connection direct query as well. But any doubts as far as today's class is concerned, people? Hello?
Yeah, it is clear, Pawan.
Yeah, it's clear.
Fine, then we'll meet again in next class. Okay, but the thing is, today actually we have lost a lot of time. So can we make a thing tomorrow? You, as far as the doubt session is concerned, if there is a doubt like if so and so thing is possible, please keep that at the end of the class, because most of the things I will be covering in the next class. You are asking the doubt now itself. So that is a bit of, we can say a blockade for covering most of the syllabus. So if you have such doubt, then please keep it at the end of the class. But if you have doubt on what I have covered, please ask that. There's no problem in that. But yes, what is possible, what all is not possible, please keep that class at the doubt at the end of the class so that we can cover up with most of the things. That is honest request from my end. Hope you don't mind. Okay.
No, it's okay. So this class is basically 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes.
It's actually 1 hour. Okay,
okay,
but it's taking more time, but not a problem. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, just a query. You will be sharing that e-commerce data file so that we can practice.
Sure. See, the thing is, right now we still have not started with the, the getting the data and doing all the transformation steps. Okay, I'll give you that data. Sure, not a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, today you just go through this whole class. Okay, that you do. Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as practice session is concerned, I'll definitely be sharing that data set, and not just this data set. We'll be dealing with many data sets. Okay. We'll work with more data sets. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Seeing where the click is, click button. Stop sharing.